station. This is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Station is ready for the event.
MPRSC, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
See, how do you hear me?
MPRSC station, I got you loud and clear.
سلطان النيادي، نحن حاليا موجودين في متحف المستقبل ومعانا مجموعة متميزة من الإعلاميين وعندهم بعض الأسئلة اللي حابين يوجهونها لك. لو عندك كلمة أتمنى تتفضل بكلمتك وبعدها بنبدأ بالأسئلة من الجمهور.
شكرا أخوي سعود على هذه الفرصة.
Thank you, Saud, for this opportunity, this beautiful one to meet my fellow media representatives. And it's a nice opportunity to introduce people who are passionate about space, about what happens in the station from sciences and researchers in the past period. I'm very happy on this day, especially that today it brings the memory of the first inhabited mission to space. Yuri Gagarin's mission in the 60s. We're talking about 62 years from the first inhabited mission. And thank God, the UAE has taken important steps, beautiful ones, in the inhabited missions with probes and satellites. So we want to follow the same pace in the space sector that is full of sciences and researchers. And for our media representatives, the message will definitely be clear. So thank you very much for your presence, and I'm ready for your questions, for any of your questions.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
May the peace of Allah be upon you. I'm from Emirates Today newspaper. We're very happy and would like to thank the Mohammed Rashid Space Center for this opportunity. And the UAE people are all happy and proud of you. And even as media representatives, we're happy to be here. Here's a question. We are following up your journey for a long time. And you're always on Twitter and you're tweeting. So the question is, Mr. Salah said to ask difficult questions or challenging ones. Do you feel fear? When we see you there, we feel scared. How do you feel when you're up there in the International Space Station?
شكرا أختي منى وشكرا كذلك.
Thank you, Muna, and thanks to Mr. Salam Al-Mirri. These questions, any question, will never be difficult, and we'll try to answer them as much as we know. Of course, fear is a natural human feeling. We fear the unknown or the unfamiliar. Going to space, as someone who goes there for the first time, naturally, I can't call it fear, but it's a feeling of respect. We go to space with flammable fuel, but we're ready to deal with any challenging or urgent situations. But I have excitement more than fear. I was very happy when the media was with me at the beginning, and now I'm even more happy that now I am at the International Space Station.
مرحبا سلطان.
Hello, Sultan. This is Mohammed Al-Ka'bi from Dubai TV. There is an Arabic saying, who lives with 40 people for 40 days, he becomes with them. Now you are on the International Space Station. And you're definitely one of the best to represent the UAE in the space sector. Now, after 40 days, what is Sultan Alneyadi's status? Physically, especially if you have any insomnia, if you're having trouble waking up or sleeping, and we wish you all the best.
شكرا اخوي محمد. الحمد لله مثل ما قلت 40 يوم طافت كانها يعني.
Thank you, Muhammad. 40 days passed like they were a week, to be very honest. And thank God, as we arrived, we had a small period, which is the receival of our crew 6 and crew 5 that departed. So a couple of days later, Dragon 27 arrived. So in the previous period, we were so busy, we couldn't feel time pass by. But thank God, the crew I am with right now is not only, I haven't worked with them for 40 days, but for years. So I'm within my space family right here. We're working together. We're sharing our ideas. And thank God, adapting generally in the beginning of those days, directions, the sense of directions were difficult, calculating time. The sun rises and sets in 45 times. It's a sunset and a sunrise. But we have adapted to this environment. We know how to adjust our biological clock on the GMT timing, which is the official timing for the station. And the days have passed quickly, but we're grateful that we had a lot of scientific production. Of course, as astronauts, we have to conduct a lot of experiments. As for sleeping, I might say the sleeping was very hard at the beginning. To be in a sleeping bag and close your eyes. But to be honest, I'm at an enjoyment phase at the moment. I only close my eyes and go to sleep. So it's a thrill that I cannot describe. Thank you, Mohammed.
Hello, Sultan. This is Sarat from The National. I want to ask you, do you think your mindset has changed since you've been in the space station for so long? Astronauts talk about the overview effect. How do you think you've changed as sort of a person and view Earth since being on the space station? And of course, I have to ask, what are you missing at home? Thank you.
Thank you, Sarwat, and very, very, very good question. Honestly, arriving to the International Space Station and looking down to Earth and seeing our beautiful planet, it's as you mentioned, it's the overall picture of this magnificent planet that everything happened throughout the history, the people we knew, all the events throughout the time, the human beings living on Earth. It's a profound experience, actually. And personally, I do feel like we do need to keep this planet intact. Just today, I was flying over the Himalayas, and I saw that boundary between air pollution and the clouds and the other side of the Himalayas. And I thought, wow, this is really incredible, seeing like a barrier of smoke just trying to jump over the Himalayas. So we need to protect this planet. We need to be happy in this planet. So as an astronaut on board the International Space Station, I do value the oxygen. I do value water, and I do value the ability to breathe clean atmosphere, which we get for free on Earth. So let's keep this planet intact. Let's keep it tidy and clean, and hopefully we can live as much as Allah wants.
مرحبا سلطان.
Hello, Sultan. This is Ahmed from Al Bayan newspaper. Thank you for this great effort that you made in the past 40 days. You were so active that we couldn't keep up with the many activities you were doing. My question to you is the experiments and the accurate ones, the medical ones, and many scientists. Can you tell us about those tests and how challenging are they to practice in space? And can you tell us about the experiences? How much have you completed from your experiments so far? Have you started with them? And what is left? Thank you, Ahmed. The activities, if you can keep up, I'll try to reduce them.
صراحة كانت جدا ملهمة بالنسبة لي. اشتغلت على
Those activities that we do, I've worked on heart fabrics, heart cells, also cures for diabetes, printing in 3D printing for fibers for the knees and for different parts of the human body is we have our own vegetation nursery as well. All of these, they definitely come with a benefit to humanity. The question is, why do we do this in space? On Earth, we have gravity that makes very minute things, or it makes testing very challenging. So we take these into perspective. For example, heart fibers that we work on, we can see those fibers or cells in the early stages as a small orb. So the no-gravity environment, it allows scientists to see those cells as in a circular orb kind of a form. It's as if you've seen the early creation of those cells. We also have programs, Ahmed, and experiments from universities. Until now, I haven't worked on them, but in the next 5 months, we'll work on them, and definitely we'll try to overflow you with the results of these experiments. Hello, Brother Sultan. I hope you're well. This is Khaled from the media office. We, as media representatives, would like to thank you for giving the opportunity to us to speak to you. And we also thank you for enriching us in the content that you are relaying to us from where you are right now. My question to you is a personal question. Mental health. Do you have any mental health challenges? You are very far from Earth, or very, very far from your comfortable planet. Can you tell us about that comfort zone and mental health while in space?
مشكور أخوي والشكر لله دائما طبعا نحن
Thank you very much. It is our duty to relay the events that happen on the International Space Station, scientific ones and the general ones, to our media representatives. As I said, 62 years from the first inhabited space mission, we have to spin this wheel in our Arab region and educate people with things that perhaps we lacked and we forgot about for many, many years. As for your questions, obviously there are challenges. That a person looks from space at planet Earth, this planet he lived on for many years, and he sees that it's protected with a very thin layer. And this planet is exposed to a lot of factors. So we have to develop the sciences that can preserve this planet and protect it. But psychologically, I'm on board the International Space Station, and as I speak to you, we have ways to communicate with our families and our loved ones on a daily basis, by email or voice transmission, or even visual one, which, of course, keeps us at ease, keeps us happy. And if our loved ones are good, we are good. If they're happy, we're happy. And if you're good, then I'm happy as well. This is what motivates me to present everything that I have towards this mission and to complete it in the best way possible. And as I said, we have an amazing crew. We live on this station. We help each other. We learn from each other in this 6-month period. And after that, we'll be back achieving a lot and succeeding in almost every way we were entrusted with.
Sultan, this is Carla from Wired Middle East. I have a small question for you. Obviously, this sort of mission takes so much preparation, so much time, a lot of willpower. What was the most unexpected thing that you encountered in your time on the ISS?
Thank you for your question. This is very interesting, actually. As you mentioned, we've been training for years. So the moment we arrived here, I thought, wow, this is incredible. This is just what we trained for, except for a lot of wiring, obviously. It's not as clean as the mock-ups on Earth. But honestly, that the amount of hours of training that we received was sufficient for us to immediately start working on board the International Space Station. But there was nothing except for how time really flies. I mean, it was really quick in the first few days. We have a schedule and we have a red line that we have to maintain. So if you're running behind the red line, then you're late. And the aim is to go beyond or in front of that line, not to be late. So maybe that was the main take for me, for example. Time really flies like really, really fast.
السلام عليكم أخوي سلطان.
Hello, Brother Sultan. This is Abdullah Raisi, content creator. Before you traveled, I filmed a video of how do you fast in space. It got over 500,000 views, so thank you for that. My question is a bit different today. We are media representatives, and we are the link between you and everyone. What are the messages you want us to focus on and relate to the community? How can we be, well, even if it were a small part of this? And we wish you the best of luck.
شكرا اخوي عبد الله وهذا
Thank you, Brother Abdullah. As you said at the beginning in the interview, your presence as media representatives, you are our mirror that relays the right information to people. So as you can see, we are in a scientific mission that will come as a great benefit to humanity. So we need you to relay those messages with the most transparency and accuracy and credibility. The information that you get has to be relayed in a way that is easy to comprehend and understand from our listeners and viewers. We have different ages, our children, the youth, and old people as well. Some scientific things may be dry, so we try to, as you say, simplify it in a humorous kind of a way for people to understand it. So I liked and I loved in some of the videos that you've seen that I introduce people to some of the laws of physics. Science, as you know, if you say it in a very honest and raw way, in a scientific form, it will be very dry and people may not comprehend it. But through you, we'll be able to relay all of our physics information, the nature of living in space, in a very friendly to understand kind of a way. That is our duty and that is yours as well.
مرحبا سلطان يعطيك العافية.
Hello, Sultan. This is Yassir from Bafra TV. I'd like to add my question to a direction from colleague Mohammed Al-Kabi regarding mental health. Today, the physical factors have changed in space. The weather, climate, all of these things have changed. What are the things that the astronaut faces in space?
يعطيك العافية أخوي وما قصرت على السؤال.
Thank you, brother.
طبعا التحديات مثل ما ذكرنا سابقا.
The challenges, as we said before, living in space is very difficult and challenging. We don't walk on our legs. We hang on to things and we bully ourselves. So the feet, primarily, they actually lose some of their strength in space. So we have to do a daily practice for 2 days. We have a treadmill, we have weights to lift, and the focus is on the legs and the back because you have muscles in these parts. There are people who did not train properly, and so they get back with some medical problems that requires rehabilitation. So from this information, we're trying to focus on the bones as well, so it can maintain its density and our muscles as well, so we can have the right physique. And thankfully, we have a mechanism to measure the weight and to also convert it into the right units. These units, after they're measured, it goes to specific doctors. I'd like to mention Dr. Hanan al-Suwaidi. I always follow up my medical file with her. And my body weight is stable and perfect. But if there is a problem in the weight, a lot of things will change. The diet and the way of eating, or the portions of the food that I intake or ingest. So all of this is followed up in addition to some of the studies that focus on DNA and blood circulation. We are exposed to radiation because we're not protected as you are on planet Earth. So our position exposes us to radiation, and we are exposed to variant portions of radiation during our stay here. But we have doctors that follow up on us psychologically and physically as well. You made us live a lot of exciting moments. I have a question. Have you ever faced any technical challenges or problems during those 40 days? Second thing, I want to know what's the first thing you said when you arrived to the International Space Station. This is Noura from the Saudi news platform, News Khabar.
مرحبا يا نورا ودامج من محطة أو من منصة.
Hello, Noura. And since you come from Saudi, I'd like to tell you that our brothers, Ali Al-Garni and Rayana Barnawi, are going to be here in countable days in the coming period, and they will share these moments with you, and I'll be very happy to receive them as they arrive. Generally, as I said in some of the questions, that the emergency situations we are familiar with them. We're well trained to deal with emergency situations, and we have crews in Houston or in Moscow or Munich or even in Europe or ESA, and in Japan as well, in Cuba. All of these crews.
Station, this is Houston ACR, and that concludes our event.
Thank you to all participants from United Arab Emirates and across the region. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.